How are you, Kristen?
Good to see you again.
Oh my God, happy Wednesday! You look so beautiful. I love your, show us your blue wings.
So I got her blue wings, my little butterfly earrings. Hey,
Oh,
Tiffany.
oh, we have Stephanie. There are your fans here. All right. Hello, everybody. So maybe I don't need to introduce you, but I will. um, so Kristen, she is amazing woman, friend for me. She also is just amazing soul behind any scenes, and you get a lot of hearts right now. She, you are also, she's also abuse recovery coach, health coach, writer, artist, and so many creative things, creating posts. Let's welcome Kristen Froehlich.
Thank
Yay!
you. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. And we're going to talk about some real stuff. Allie, I'm so happy you guys are on live. You guys are the best.
Wow, you brought your family here. That's amazing. Everybody's cheering you up.
I love my people.
And they love you, right? You can see the love, and it feels so good because of your story. I would like to actually talk about taking your power back and thriving after leaving abusive relationships. Because now you are a coach, advocate for others, but your story has so many up and downs, right? On that way. So I would like to ask you. Oh, you have so many comments. I feel like reading them. Yes, I will love Kristen. Anything to support you. Oh, my camera is freaking out. Hello, beautiful. We have also, I'm leaving now for me. Is asking, doing well. How is everyone? How are you guys? Yeah. So, Kristen, I would like to, let me set up the camera. All right. I would like to ask you about why do we end up in abusive relationships over and over again many times? What's the key? Yeah. Is there bad luck or?
So I think for me personally, and this goes for a lot of survivors, it is a lack of boundaries that definitely didn't help the situation when I was meeting the narcissistic person that I was dating at the time. Just not having boundaries, not having the education and awareness of the red flags, and being a little bit codependent, maybe more than a little bit. And just really just wanting love and needing love and wanting approval and those type of things. You can be an easier target for somebody to take advantage of that, for those qualities in a person. I did have a really great childhood. For a lot of survivors, I know it can be something that stems from the patterns of how they were raised by parents. I actually was sexually assaulted in college, and I think for me, that was the root of where I lost all my self-worth and then ended up in these abusive relationships after that. Because I just didn't love myself. I felt empty, and it was just one of those things that I didn't even know it would happen to me. And it can happen to literally anybody, which is so important to know. It doesn't matter who you are or your background or what you do. It's not about, not being smart or this or that. Like it can be anybody can be a victim of narcissistic abuse.
Well, thank you so much for standing in your power and being vulnerable and sharing that. And thank you for teaching about boundaries, how boundaries are important, and how much we can always learn them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm still learning boundaries, but I've gotten way better.
And also probably some cultural thing somewhere, and the patriarchy, how it works for that impact of female being more submissive, right? Somewhere, like I'm from Poland, and my country is totally more into men being the head of the house and son being as a better treated. So and so many times there are some kind of cultural ways how the role models
are. Yeah.
We have so many people joining and sending you loves, Kristen.
Hey, Valerie.
Hello, guys. How are you? If you have any question to Kristen, please feel welcome. Message them. Kristen is a recovery abuse coach, health coach for anybody who's joining right now. You can guys make any questions about your own healings and what actually how to explain the red flags to somebody who doesn't have idea about red flags and how to see them in a relationship.
Yeah, so there was a quote that I saw recently on one of the therapy pages or psychology pages I follow where somebody can pretend and like fake their mask on for up to 3 months. And so you might not notice the red flags right away when you're meeting somebody new or falling for somebody new. For me personally, I've dated two different types of narcissists. One was, lacked the empathy, was very more cold and standoffish. And I would like seek the affection from him or like try to earn it, right? Or you had to earn it. And then I've had the opposite side where it was love bombing. So love bombing is a red flag. If you guys haven't heard of that, it's basically just they're all about you. They are monopolizing your time. They are constantly messaging you, maybe from different apps. Maybe they're sending you flowers. They have everything in common with you. Like you feel like it's too good to be true, that they have just so much in common with you. They're mirroring you and they're it's a form of manipulation, and they know that slowly they're not going to sustain that. And then the other red flags come in where you notice a passive aggressive comment, or maybe they say something hurtful to put you down, but you're like, oh my gosh, but it started so amazing. And so love bombing is a red flag. Some others are like just controlling comments. What are you wearing? Who are you hanging out with? Just anything that makes you feel as if you have a lack of privacy, or they're starting to control or monitor you in any way. And they can come out really small, and you just have to listen to your gut. Empaths. Oh, I'm an empath. Empaths, they just feel really deeply. The men I've dated who were abusive, they did not have any empathy at all. Love bombing is more surface. It's manufactured. It is very easy for them to learn the behavior of, oh, I'm going to give her these flowers. I'm going to, bombard her with gifts and words. But if you truly are genuinely in love with somebody or care about that person and respect that person, it's not just going to be through words and gifts. It's also going to be through their actions, how they treat you and how they make you feel. So a big red flag for me was also just how I felt. If I started to feel anxiety inside of my body, if I started to question their authenticity as we're dating and I'm getting to know them, I would really pay attention to my gut and my body. And I remember thinking like this person was the one, but then my body was having anxiety and I was starting to be a little bit on eggshells, and I was starting to change who I was or maybe what I was doing to make that person happy. And so those are all just common things that have happened in the beginning. And as soon as you recognize them, seek professional help, talk it out, find a therapist, do your research, connect with friends. Don't isolate yourself. If they want to isolate you from friends and family, they're not going to straight out say you can't, they might say you can't see your friends and family, but they really gradually pull you away from them by creating either drama or stories and things like that. So lots on red flags. And if you go to my Instagram page, and also if you're one of my clients, we talk a lot about red flags and boundaries and how to recognize those signs, and just standing in who you are and really making sure you're not allowing any toxic behavior in your circle.
Wow, that was so powerful. I don't know, guys, how you are feeling, but that was a great information. We have also Jessica saying, I swear I think I am empath sometimes.
Yes, Jess, you're my soul sister.
And that can be superpower, right? This
It,
empathy can be superpower if we direct that
yes.
uh, with intention, focus, right? So it's not like I am empath for everybody. It's
Yes.
like I'm empath for people who treat me right.
Yes, you want to be an empowered empath because it can
Mm.
be a love-hate relationship when you have such deep emotions and you just want the best for everyone and you want to save and rescue and help those that are suffering or who are angry. Like I used to just want to fix and help everybody. And so, yeah, being an empowered empath means you are still an empath, but you know how to protect yourself. And it's really important that we don't forget about ourselves and lose ourselves and protect ourselves in the process in these different relationships.
Mm. Right, that we don't keep abandoning ourselves, right? We have a comment from Valerie Amor. I love the Amor. It's like love in Spanish, right? Totally was with the man for 3.5 years and watched over time how faith in God was questioned even by him, right? The spiritual abuse is huge,
Spiritual
right?
abuse.
I understood
Absolutely.
that they use many times your ideology to change your faith, your beliefs, to basically control, manipulate you, right? Is that
Yeah.
right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm Christian and I've had multiple relationships where they used that against me and said, oh, well, this is a new day. You're just not forgiving. But you don't forgive every single day. If the abusive behavior keeps repeating itself, then it's now on purpose. It's their choice to treat you that way. And so, yes, I am a forgiving person, but you don't want to take it to the length again where you're in the situation and it's escalating. I had somebody else tell me that the Bible tells me that I'm to be submissive to him because he's the man, and I've had that happen to me as well.
Really?
Um, totally out of context, twisted. But again, when you're going through it and you're in the relationship, you can feel very confused, and there's a lot of gaslighting going on. And so if you're not clear and you're not having that space and those outside people that are healthy minded to help you navigate that type of relationship, it can be really easy to start to believe the lies and then start to feel guilty or shame or, you know, be in their control. And so it's really important education, connecting with others, um, having those people in your corner who know the signs, who have been there. And if you have already been in an abusive relationship, I highly recommend that you get plugged into support groups and coaching and therapy because when you're out of it, it doesn't end there. There's healing to be done. Otherwise, you'll do what I did and you'll attract the same type of person more than once. And so that just layered on the trauma for me is having a 5-year one and then an 11-month one with 2 restraining orders on him now, totaling 7 years of protection, and then even short-term ones after that. It becomes a pattern, and so you want to break that cycle completely. And so even if you're free from it, keep working on yourself 100% all the time.
Well, that's powerful for anybody who's joining right now. Kristen is a abuse recovery coach. She's here to respond also any of your questions in the comments. And I would love to ask you, Kristen, what actually help you to break that trauma bond, and for anybody who's watching also to understand what does it takes and why the no contact is so important, because I understand that applying for restriction order, right, 2 times, I mean, it means that you had to, there's a lot of inner work behind,
Yes.
right?
It was
So
terrifying for me. It wasn't easy to do. So the first abusive relationship I had was about almost 5 years, just under, and we had gotten house together. And he, was somebody that I constantly was trying to earn his love, and prove that I was worthy. And he was abusing me constantly. It escalated so bad, to the point where I blamed it all on myself. I took 100% blame. It was my fault he had a temper. It was my fault he was frustrated. Or I made excuses for him. He went through a lot of trauma as a child. It's not his fault, right? So I did all of that for 5 years. And what ultimately helped me get out, I had a mentor send me an article about gaslighting. I had never heard that phrase before. It led me into my own research every single night while I was still with him. And at this point, I was sleeping on the couch because he didn't want me to disturb his sleep in the bed because it was more important. So I was living out on the couch, and I would sneak my phone and I would take quizzes and read and just look up narcissistic abuse. And I was almost in shock every time I read something and was like, oh, he says this, he does this is exactly what's happening. I'm not crazy. It was just like a huge breakthrough moment. But again, it took me a few months of that, of just, okay, I'm educating myself in secret. I would say I was at work an extra hour just to go to the park to do more research, to have time alone so that I wouldn't get caught. And I gave myself a few rewards for me, just for me. I donated my hair. I sponsored a little girl in Thailand. I was like doing things he told me I wasn't allowed to do. And he noticed. And I just started to build my own confidence little by little. And then eventually, a few months after doing that, I ended the relationship. I moved back in with my family, and their support really helped, giving me a place to stay, giving me a safe place to stay where I felt like, they could watch over me, and I could not be under anyone's control anymore, and just give me that time to keep healing. I went right into therapy because I knew something wasn't right about it. But when I started therapy, I didn't know it was abuse, because he never punched me in the face. And to me, the way society had always shown us as abuse is you have a black eye, you have physical wounds on your body. He might have punched a hole in the wall, and he scared the crap out of me, intimidating me, but I never called it the A word. Like, not until a year into therapy did I really comprehend what was happening. So those things that combined helped me get out. Staying no contact with somebody who you have a trauma bond with, it can be really difficult. You don't want to do it alone. It feels like you're detoxing off of a drug. If your relationship had those highs and lows, you're in fight or flight. You have all these chemicals in your body. And when you then just stop that, like eggshells, that constant hypervigilance I was in, it feels really bad. So I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Going no contact with that relationship was really difficult. What kept me no contact was thinking of my future kids I want to have, that I didn't want them to see something like that. Like, I just want to be a mom so badly. And that was one of the things I held on to, was, well, I don't want them to see that. And just support groups. My church had a recovery group for codependency, all of those things. So it was really, really a beautiful thing, a difficult thing, but worth it. Going no contact if you can. If there's no ties to that person, it's the fastest way to heal the wounds. It's the fastest way to gain clarity and to really see the relationship for what it was. And then that helps you move on even faster, because then you realize the truth, because you're no longer in the fantasy, and you can't be manipulated by them. So.
Thank you so much, Kristen, for sharing, and cheers. Break for the water.
Mm-hmm. Gotta hydrate.
I have some turmeric and ashwagandha.
Yes.
Like you told me last time, because of Kristen is also, I mentioned, right, coach in health as well.
Yes.
So when it comes to, well, there are so powerful messages you share with us, and I get so many great content. And guys, if you have some question also, please add in the comments. I would love to ask about healing and actually healing your self-esteem and self-worth. Yes. And what does it take really? What are the steps you took on the way to be where you are right now?
Yeah, so it's definitely a journey. I have not arrived. There's really no arrival to that. It's constantly a journey. I may overcome one thing and then there's a new thing to overcome. And when you're healing, it doesn't look perfect all the time. Sometimes you feel like you go 100 steps backwards. If you get triggered, or if something comes up, or if there's a lot of change going on around you, I can get triggered and start to feel anxiety and depression and things that come up. But for the most part, if you are plugged in with, somebody that you can talk to or journaling really helped me, because you want to like get it out of your body, get it out of your mind, write it out, free journal. I found a therapist who specializes in trauma and EMDR, and is very familiar with the effects of abuse on your body and the aftermath of that. And so having someone who completely understands is huge, because a lot of people don't understand and they think, oh, it's just a breakup, move on, get over it. Why is it still affecting you? It has nothing to do with, oh, I miss that person. Like at this point, it's just my body got used to that for so long, and then it's just having to heal. So meditation every day, yoga is great to do as well. You can go to different apps for meditations. If you're new to it, I use Insight Timer. It's amazing. I put on healing frequency music for sleep. I take care of my health and nutrition best I can. And again, nothing's ever perfect. I can't do all of it perfect all at the same time. But if you're just pulling here and there and you're just trying different things, find what works for you. Everybody's different. And for me, it was reading a lot of books to heal about abuse and self-love, and finding boundaries again. Read books on boundaries, talk about that, get a coach who can hold you accountable to what you want to create, set goals, small goals for yourself, and then you can grow those from there, and just start to dream again and figure out, what do you want a year from now, 5 years from now, and take the smallest step towards it. You can't go backwards if you're taking a step forward. And it can be the smallest thing, but that helped me not feel super overwhelmed with the process, and just, what can I do today to help me heal? What can I do today for my mindset? What can I do today to feel less alone and to, get on my feet? And, some days are not that great even still, but overall, if I look back, oh my gosh, it's night and day difference. I started coaching a few months ago, women healing from abuse. I've been coaching on my page since 2018, since I started the poems, and that was really healing for me, was focusing on others, and getting out of my own head, and how can I help these other people that are where I was, or struggling still, or need that support. And so that's another great way to heal. Like, what can you do in your community or for those around you that you care about? And that will really help you as well, give you something to focus on that is supportive and good for you, and a better way to cope than some of the other options.
Well, I love what you said, helping others help you to heal as well, because of the human connection, the humanity, right? The perspective picture, how many people, like one for women's really some sexual or physical abuse in relationships, and many times we don't know about it, right? Because of, like you mentioned, the emotional abuse many times, there is no much awareness about that, right? That yelling is not normal. and many times the Disney, how really movie shows men to be powerful and in control, right? For us is like, oh, this guy has so much testosterone, he is this fighter, he will provide, right? And the truth is that that's the opposite, that the real man is stable, consistent, right? And many times is the quiet person in the room is not always the most confident and charming and adoring, and and that everybody's, oh my God. And we are attracted to that outside because of the chemistry can be poisoning, right? Is that right?
Uh,
That
yeah.
so when it comes to healthy relationships, what do you look at when you're dating? Now we are your secret.
So I have a list. I made a list of this because it really helped me just keep my mind clear. And I list all the red flags. I obviously have been through the relationships that have taught me what I don't want. So it's really easy if you've been through it. We know what we don't want, but what are some values to you now and characteristics? And yeah, like the humble person, the person that can have a real conversation, um, and treat you as an equal. That's not for show. They're not like all over, to present you like you're just this, um, whatever, arm candy, like, but behind closed doors, they treat you the same as they would treat you in front of a crowd. Because all my abusive relationships, it was when we were alone that the abuse was so bad. And the healthy ones, it doesn't change when you're out in the world and when you're at home. It is consistent, and it might feel slower in the beginning. They don't happen as fast. And so if somebody's pressuring me to move fast, that's a red flag. If they're pressuring me to like put a, move in, or talking about marriage and babies, and they barely know me and it's like a few months in or less, I mean, that can also be a very big red flag. You don't really know them and the ins and outs of who they are yet. And so when you're starting to date again, trust your intuition, because a lot of us, we knew the toxic relationship, there was something, that little voice, we chose to ignore it because we were like being wined and dined or whatever it was. But look for genuine, you know, people with maybe a solid background. They're not talking about all of their exes being crazy and telling you these sob stories, trying to gain your sympathy. Those are some red flags on a first or third date. And they have evidence in their life, like with what they're doing and who they interact with. They have clear evidence that they can maintain healthy relationships. A lot of the times, the abusers I dated, they didn't really have a best friend or even a close family situation. They were all about me, and it was like, well, don't you have other things? Like, how can you just drop everything? So those are things that now I look for in somebody, is like how their lifestyle is. What are their things they do day to day? What's their routine like? And how do they speak to me? And as soon as there's like a slight hint of some kind of trigger or red flag in there, it's just saying like, this isn't for me, and not trying to force it or wish that away. If it happened, it could happen again. And so yeah, just being really clear on how they're treating you, how it's feeling. But yeah, dating is very interesting these days. I know a lot of people are doing online dating, and anyone can post anything on their profiles. And so you want to make sure when you're talking to them that they're consistent in what they're sharing.
Yeah.
I've caught people lying to me, or I would bring up a very serious topic for me that would be like a deal breaker or non-negotiable, and maybe they